I've got my summer clothes on. I'm leaving my hair natural just to try it out. I've got my glasses on, which can only mean one thing. We are having some serious chats. One of the things I struggled with most in uni and in my early 20s is overspending. And really just avoiding the dip into my overdraft or my savings account or my credit card at the end of every month. In the past few years, I've been building up some tips and tricks to help me avoid dropping into that danger zone. And I kind of thought I might share them with you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I currently have £50 sitting in my spending account, but you know what? Nearly every month, these tips and tricks help me out, so I thought I'd share them with you. I'm a lot better than I was. And 21-year-old me wishes she'd had this video. These might seem completely obvious to someone who's a seasoned saver, or they might be brand new to you. I just hope that they help even a little bit. And little disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor or an expert. Please do not seek financial advice from me. I am not offering financial advice. I am a mere 26-year-old just making her way in the world. One of the easiest ways I found to stop yourself overspending is having some smart saving tools at your disposal. My spending can be a bit chaotic, but having my current account connected to my Plum has been so helpful. It's given me a bit of peace of mind that I'm doing a bit of additional good work for my financial situation without having to put in loads of extra effort. What is Plum, you might ask? Well, Plum is a free app that helps you save money effortlessly. Plum links to your bank, analyses how much you spend, and then automatically saves regular amounts for you. So my Plum transfers a small amount every few days and adapts to how much I've been spending or saving that week. They have a bunch of tools on the app. I currently use the payday tool, which means that every time I pay myself or you receive a paycheck, Plum automatically sets aside a certain amount to go into my savings. I've chosen how much that is out of one of the suggestions they gave me. I also love that you can save money in different ways using the pockets. I put my money into investments, but you can also open an easy access savers account or a SIP, which is a personal pension. And you can use multiple pockets and balance your savings the way that you prefer to. If you only want to dabble in investing, go for it. They also have a money maximizer tool, which I am planning to try soon because its whole purpose is to help you stop overspending. It sounds like my kind of thing. Once I've given it a go, I'll report back. Plum is free. I will leave a link in the description where you can download it and give it a try yourself. I can't lie, I'm new to Plum, but my boyfriend has been using it for years. I can't believe I didn't try it sooner. It's just so reassuring to have some smart savings going on in the background. As I said, check the link in the description where you can find out so much more about Plum. My next tip is to keep your money organised. I'll be the first to say that I'm not the queen of organisation, just ask anyone I work with. But I would say one of the biggest things that I've done that has helped me manage my money is separating it out and knowing what is spendable and what is not spendable. When I say I'm organised, I'm not someone keeping 15 spreadsheets and meticulously going through the nitty-gritty. But what I am doing is making sure that in one current account, I keep my rent and my bills, and in my other current account, I keep my spending money. If you aren't separating them out already, I'd really encourage you to start. I found it so helpful for just giving me some peace of mind and helping distinguish between my spendable money and my fixed outgoings. However, I do still pay my subscriptions out of my spendable money current account. So I try to keep an eye on what that figure is and minus it out of my spending money each month, just so I mentally have a note of what I need to leave behind in the account. And that way I don't accidentally spend it. I'm never going to be someone who meticulously organises their finances. It is just not in my nature. If you know me, then you know. But I do just like to be realistic about what I'm actually able to spend, and this method really helps. Speaking of which, one of the things I do that is so valuable to me and saves me a bunch of time and money is do a subscriptions audit. I regularly go through my subscriptions and remove the ones I no longer use. I once paid £100 in subscription fees to a well-known lingerie brand without realising that that money was not skippable beyond the 5th or 6th day of the month, and that it didn't get returned to me in clothing vouchers. I literally lost that money. It was a painful lesson. A painful lesson. I also pause subscriptions that I think I might want to come back to but don't necessarily need right now. For example, ones that function on credits when I've already built up a reserve. And a final reminder, if you are a small business or you are self-employed, make sure that all work subscriptions are coming out of your business account. For too long, I was paying for my Adobe subscription out of my personal account, but now it comes out of my business because I only use it for work. Sometimes it can be really hard to motivate yourself not to spend. I know I've said one too many times this year, why should I save for a holiday? We're in a global pandemic. I'm sure I'm not the only one who said that, along with my other favourite catchphrase, Who can even afford a house these days? Oh, it's so bleak. I think it's best to focus on some smaller savings goals along with your bigger ones. Because everyone has additional aspirational purchases they want to make, but every year that goes by, it feels like it will be a whole other year before you can afford it. And I think having a clear goal or vision can really help with this. And I don't mean manifesting, although if that's your thing, absolutely go for it. I mean more Pinterest board or Notion document. How does Notion work? So instead of having a generic holiday fund, plan the trip you want to have in way more detail. Pick a place or a journey you're going to make and plan what you want to eat, what hotels you want to go to, where you want to stay, how you want to travel, what you want to see when you're there. There's so many exciting things that can inspire you for this trip. For me personally, I like to create a little itinerary kind of plan, like not a big one, but just like I want to see these things, I want to eat at these places, and I want to visit these things. It gets me excited. My friends who have had a clear plan or vision for where they wanted to go have nearly always managed to hit their savings goals and go on that trip. And I mean, no matter what their income. I know so many people who did it for their gap years. In fact, I actually have a real life example of this. When I was 18, I worked in retail for 6 months and saved up for my dream trip to LA, and my goodness, was it a dream come true. I couldn't believe I'd made it. Like when I got off the plane, I was like, wow, I did this. Like, I saved for this. So all this to say, having a clear end goal for your savings can really motivate you to slow down your spending. Okay, now onto some more practical tips. And the first thing I say to people when they feel like their money is going down the drain is, where are you buying your groceries? If you live in a city like me, I'm sure you do exactly the same thing. You need more veg, you need more fruit. You go to your local metro mini supermarket and you end up spending an absolute fortune on bread and cucumbers. And it's just not the one. I love that I thought of bread and cucumbers, like, of course. And you end up spending more because they know they can overcharge. It's your local spot, the prices are high and the portions are small. Or you might take the other route and just order in. If you feel seen, don't worry. So do I. So there's 2 ways I approach this. The first is having a groceries plan. I say this very loosely. I just go through my cupboards every few weeks and look at kind of the things we're probably going to want to eat, how often we're in the house, and then I make a kind of rough groceries list, but especially focusing on the cupboards and the freezer. There are so many times where I feel like I've completely run out of food, but I'm actually able to make an entire meal through things that are in my cupboard and my freezer. But yeah, if you're someone who only keeps hash browns in your freezer, maybe expand that. I keep peas, sweet corn, edamame. My freezer is like a haven. Oh, I've got gluten-free pastries. I've got bread, in fact. I have frozen berries. I just try and keep a really good stock of stuff. Frozen prawns, frozen pizzas, ready meals. There are so many things you can keep in your freezer that keep everything fresh and are just so useful for days where you might run to that mini mart and spend £10 on pasta and some cheese. And if you live far away from a supermarket, I couldn't recommend ordering online enough. Even if you're paying the delivery fee, it will probably work out cheaper than shopping local. It's a bit bleak, but it does save you money. We do an online order every 2 weeks, and honestly, that's all we need for that time. I realized I talked about the freezer, but I didn't talk about my cupboards. I always make sure my cupboards are stocked. Again, it's about giving yourself the tools you need to make sure you can feed yourself, even when you don't have anything fresh. My cupboards have tins of soup, tuna, baked beans. I know we've got some mackerel in there. And then making sure I have dried herbs, dried spices, condiments, things that make things taste good. But yeah, I know it's kind of boring and kind of rudimentary, but that quick pop to the shop mentality can cost you so much money over time. And then at the end of the month, you look at your bank account and think, how did I get here? Well, you were paying £4 for an avocado, hun. That's probably why. And your final tip from Auntie Lucy is to unsubscribe and unfollow. I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm a case study. I am a case study for how following brands on Instagram and subscribing to their email marketing communications makes you spend more money. One of the worst shopping triggers for me is newsletters. I open my emails and Reformation are luring me in with another dress that I know won't fit me, but I order it anyway. And I know you're thinking, oh, but Luce, I just don't use that email address. I never see those email subscriptions. Well, look to your Instagram and which businesses you're following, because I bet there's some of them that are provoking you to spend more than you want to. Every half a year, I do a complete cull of my email subscriptions and my people I follow on social media. I know people think it's harsh, but I think it's for the best. It's ultimately about you and your mental health. Unfollowing someone or something, especially if it's a brand, is just not personal. It's not about them, it's about you and what's good for you in that moment. It's good to do in general, but especially for those accounts that are trying to trap you in their sales funnel. You'll also realize over time that some set you off and some don't. For example, I follow some beauty brands brands who rarely do new launches or releases, and I find that so much easier and actually more rewarding to follow than companies that are dropping in that fast consumerism mentality. For those brands that follow a slower model, I find them fine to follow, and I only end up topping up when I've run out of products. But for all those fast fashion ones asking you to enter competitions, doing giveaways, spend, unfollow. It will be so much better for your bank account. And I hate to say it, but influencers as well. If there are influencers who are always encouraging you to shop and you find them quite triggering, unfollow. Or mute them. Mute them for a period of time. You can always refollow. They're not going anywhere. Bit meta, but that's how we end the video. So those are some of my tips for avoiding overspending. I hope they've been helpful. I try and implement as many of these as possible, and I do notice a change in how I spend my money. And I hope this video gives you some ideas of how you can use the tools you have to save and spend better. Thank you, Plum, for working with me on this video. I love your service. I think it's great, and do go to the link in the description to check it out and try it yourself. So yeah, get the app for free by using the link below. Let me know your most embarrassing overspend in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.